Hello students, today we are going to see what are the different defects in our vision. In previous lectures we have studied what are different types of lenses, how an image was formed for a convex lens as well as for concave lens. Then we have studied what is a magnification, what is a power of lens, and what will happen to the focal length when two or more lenses were combined. Now, at the starting of lecture, I am giving you first homework, because after doing that homework only, you have to see this lecture. Your homework is in page number 86 and 87 from your state board textbook. You have to draw the diagrams for human eye and you have to name its different parts, and you have to write the notes for that point. What is the point? Human eye. I have not drawn that diagram because it is more complicated to draw here. So best way, you have to take your textbooks, page number 86 and 87, you have to draw and you have to make notes on that point. Now today we are going to see what are different defects of vision and how the defects can be corrected. So the first defect is nearsightedness. Second defect is farsightedness. First defect is also called as myopia. The second defect, that farsightedness, is also called hypermetropia. Hypermetropia. So first we are going to see is nearsightedness. So students, most of you are using spectacles. Why? Because if teacher is teaching on a board, most of the students cannot see clearly. That whatever the words written on the boards, most of the students cannot see clearly. Means most of the students cannot see far object clearly, but that student can see nearer object clearly. Means suppose we have to read textbook, then we can read clearly textbook without specs, no doubt. But if we have to see the far object, then we cannot see it clearly. That defect is called as nearsightedness. Means nearer object can be seen clearly while distant object cannot be seen clearly. So what happens in this defect? Nearer objects can see clearly, but distant object cannot see clearly. So this defect is called as nearsightedness, or it is alternatively called as myopia. So as we have already studied, let us see, this is our human eye, and we all know this is our eye lens, this is a retina. So on page number 87, you will get two diagrams. One will be for the rays which are coming from nearer object, and the second one is the rays which are coming from far object. I will show you how they have given you. So I have this is my state board textbook. Students, let us see carefully. this is diagram number A. On page number 87, you have to draw this diagram and you have to make short notes on this point, because you have to write what are its names. Okay, so we are dealing with these two diagrams. So these are the rays which are coming from the nearer object, as I have drawn here. So these are the rays which are coming from the nearer object, while you can clearly see in diagram A, these are the rays coming from far object. So first diagram I have drawn here is the nearby object seen clearly. How? Because whenever these rays from nearer object are coming, we can see all these are converging at one point. So this point shows that we can see nearer object clearly in this defect. Okay, so what will happen to the distant or far objects? How can we draw? These are the rays coming from the far object, but for a stable or healthy person, the rays coming from the far object should go here, diverge at this point, that is far point from this eye or retina. But what happens? This far point is coming closer to this eye. This far point is coming closer to this eye. Here we can see clearly it is coming closer from this to this side. So we cannot see distant or far object clearly. This is called a myopia eye. What happens to myopia? These are the far rays coming from this far object. All those will come to our eye and should converge at this point, but this far point is coming closer to this eye, so that we cannot see a clear image of far object. So how to overcome those difficulties or defects? To overcome those defects, one should use a spectacles containing concave lens. Spectacles containing concave lens means, suppose this is our eye, then we use spectacles here. Means outside of this eye we use spectacle at this point. So it should made up of a concave lens with negative focal length. I have drawn here the diagram showing the correction of nearsightedness, means how nearsightedness can be overcome. It is clearly shown in this diagram. We have used a concave lens. Okay, so these are the nearer object or nearer rays, and these are the far objects rays. As we use a concave lens, this will be diverged at this point. We can clearly see these rays from this point are diverged like this to our eye and will converge at this point. So person can clearly see a far object. A person can clearly see the far objects. So this is what our near sightedness. Next point we have to see is, what about far sightedness? So students, just pause this video and draw all the three diagrams. Okay. So students, we have seen nearsightedness. Next point we are going to see is far sightedness. It is also called hypermetropia. What happens to nearsightedness? Nearer object can see clearly while far object cannot see clearly. We have already studied. Now second is far sightedness. What about far sightedness? In far sightedness, further the objects which are at distance point can be seen clearly, but the objects which are very close to our eye cannot be seen clearly. Means if you are reading a book, you will get in trouble, but whenever you are seeing a far distance object, you can see clearly. This is called a far sightedness. So I can define here, nearer object cannot see clearly. Nearer object cannot see clearly, while far object can see clearly. So these are the far away rays coming to the eye. We have already studied. I have already told you that go on page number 87 of your textbook. You will get a clear idea of what are the rays coming from the nearer object, what are the rays coming from far object. Okay, you have to complete your homework. Okay, far away object can see clearly, means whatever the rays coming from the far object can be seen clearly. Now what happens to the rays coming from nearer object? Whenever the rays are coming from the nearer object, we can see this happens, means we cannot see this object clearly because it is going beyond our eye, means it is no longer than 25 centimeters, it is greater than 25 centimeters. So this happens to our eye and we cannot see the object which are very, very far from our eye, and it is called a hypermetropic eye. In last point, that is nearsightedness, we have used a concave lens. Now here we are using a convex lens for the correctness of this defect. Now see, here I have used a convex lens. These are the rays coming from the nearer object. What happens? Whenever these rays are coming, it is going like this and it is converging at a point. So these rays are converging at this point. So we can see clearly a far distant objects. So we can say, I am giving you a table. First one is nearsightedness and second one is farsightedness. Farsightedness. Okay. So in nearsightedness we can see nearer object. Here see, here cannot see. In farsightedness we cannot see far away object. Far away objects, while in farsightedness we can clearly see far object clearly, while we cannot see nearer object clearly. How to overcome these difficulties we have studied. In nearsightedness we use concave lens. We use concave lens spectacle, while in farsightedness we use a convex lens spectacle. Okay, so this is what all about your defects of vision. Now students, remember, in next upcoming days you are going to face a NTSC exam. So they can ask you for 1 mark, which kind of lens is used to overcome nearsightedness, or which lens is used to overcome farsightedness. So for nearsightedness it is concave lens and for farsightedness it is convex lens. Now most of the students are confused that there is no syllabus happen about NTSC SAT. But remember students, for NTSC you have to clear 10th and 9th state board books. So your task is you have to take 9th state board and 10th state board books, and you have to make notes, one line notes, means line to line you have to read you have to solve the exercise given below the 9th and 10th state board books so that you can easily clear NTSC exam. Means we all teachers are teaching you regarding NTSC exam. So almost your all concepts are clear. Okay. So go for your NTSC exam with all confidence. Okay. Thank you.